are you doing?
Oh my god.
I don't even know what's going on.
Okay, Leo. We've got Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising or any other significant placements. So let's go now. I will let you know that these readings are starting to get difficult. And I'm not sure why this energy starts to shift. Let's just go with it. I actually have shuffled and tried over and over to see what theme comes out, and it starts to get a bit weird, but I don't want you worried. Okay, so we start off with the theme is the Hanged Man in reverse. So somehow I get this, you're fighting an internal battle. Maybe you can't see the forest for the trees. And this could be literally a lack of insight. You're trying to get the insight. You could feel that pressure from other people is overwhelming you. And this is a time that you need to set logic aside and use intuition. Don't all go floating off outside of your bodies and woo, just understand what I'm saying. Listen first, listen to the whole reading, and then make an assessment. Because what the answer to your problem, whatever your most pressing problem is, for those of you that can identify with this, is going to require a solution that is completely unorthodox. It could be a solution that you never even imagined would be plausible or even palatable to you. Now, it could be that you're wasting time on a project that isn't going to yield the results that you want. I've been there before. Lots of people have been there before, where you're just like, putting everything into a project or a job or a situation, a relationship, and like, yeah, this isn't going to get any better, or this isn't going to change, or I'm not going to ascend. If it's a job, you may feel like, wow, I'm stuck here. I'm never going to get that promotion. I'm never going to be allowed to leave this department. They're going to cock block my job, cock block me. Maybe in a relationship, somebody's being cock blocked. But the reason why I like this is, aside from the jigsaw puzzle that this could be, for anyone who's involved in a legal case, a legal proceeding, something that's actionable, some action being taken against you. Now, this doesn't have to be just physical court, a legal proceeding, something literally on a docket. This could be spiritual court. So do you see how I've just gone unorthodox? Do you get it? So this could be a situation where in spiritual court, there could be other people. In spiritual court, it does refer to the Most High and the hierarchy, and the spiritual court is where people who are coming against you or cock blocking you or just basically screwing with you, they're being judged. And don't think they're not. They are. This is a real thing. See how I'm unorthodox when I explain this to you? People who come against you will always be judged in spiritual court. And I want to be bold and say it is far worse to be judged in spiritual court for the way that you are being treated or the way that you treat people than it is even on the physical. Trust me, we're here on this earth a short while. We want to treat people as kindly and with as much dignity and respect and mercy and sympathy, empathy as we can, because we don't do it for those reasons. A good person does it just because they're a good person, but because we are always being watched by the spiritual court. The jurors are always seated in spiritual court, they're always watching, and they could, you could understand them as your ancestors, but they could also be other people's ancestors. I've got a gang of ancestors that don't even belong to me, but belong to another person that are on my side. And I already know that. Just know that what I'm telling you is powerful. But you could be ready to get a favorable legal decision, or that if you have been on the fence about initiating a legal action, if it is blessed by the Most High, meaning you've done nothing wrong and you know that you're going to get a favorable decision. This could also mean that spiritual court has rendered justice in your favor, or is about to. So for your challenge, we have the Three of Cups in reverse. I always think this is one too many, but this is a party, a group of people, a faction, a collective. It could be your coworkers. It could be your housemates. This could refer to even your in-laws. This could be like if you're in a relationship with somebody and you feel like, oh my gosh, like my whole family is totally not seeing the lies that my partner, husband, wife is, you see what I'm saying? So this is a card also that indicates that someone isn't exercising enough. Maybe they're overindulging in food and drink, partying too much, gaining weight card. This is also the card to remain positive, to think positively. This is a card of confusion, which just goes very well with the Hanged Man card in reverse. You could feel that your friends have turned their back on you, that they don't want you in the group, that they exclude you, that they have expelled you, expulsion, excommunicated you, for those of you that resonate on the spiritual. And please don't be part of the bathrobe cults. Okay. just don't. That always will lead you down the path of destruction. And when I say the bathrobe cults, for me, you don't know this, but for me, that means, a group of people that are like, let's get together and do witchcrafts. We're going to do some magics on somebody because, he pisses us off, or she's too beautiful. Let's just hurt her. It always backfires. You'll see people having accidents. This one's going to more than just stub a toe. They're going to break a leg. Somebody's going to more than just lose pay at work. They're going to be demoted or fired. It is dangerous to do this stuff, not because it is powerful and it works, but because the spiritual court, the judge, who's the Most High, and the jury are watching. Okay. And they don't always exact their, I don't want to say punishment, but they don't always, oh gosh, I can't find the word for it. Let me think of this. They don't always sentence you at the moment that you're doing the bad thing. It is a divine orchestration of justice. Okay. So sometimes an injured party is going to be injured for a little while, just as it would in the legal system. An injured party could go some time being injured until justice is served and reparations are made. Sometimes the reparation is literally to watch your enemy or enemies be sentenced in court. Some of us, like me, I wouldn't read you a victim impact statement. You get no energy from me at all whatsoever. I will just be the one happy to see the person or persons who've perpetrated any harm being sent toward me, locked up, or like as Linda from Linda Like Sarah, locked up. I love her. So with this excommunication, this expulsion, this sense of feeling left out of something, you could feel lonely, you could feel isolated. So you need to take good care and be positive. So as a challenge, you may be feeling like, oh my gosh, it could be as simple as I'm not moving, I'm gaining weight, I don't feel good, I'm overindulging, my friends are pissed at me, we're arguing, me and my housemates, we're not getting, for the UK, my flatmates, we're not getting along. You could just, the challenge is having to deal with feeling left out, not included. So for your finances, we have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So this could be where you're like, okay, yeah, my finances are not improving. I'm not making any more money. I'm having to stretch the dollar further because it's not improving here. Things are just not improving. And I really think for some of you, this is going to be about your job, because this is also the Six of Pentacles in reverse is a card about being literally denied a raise, denied a promotion or a bonus or something that you expected, or not that they told you were going to get it, but because you knew that it was time for you to get it. And it is unfair, because the Six of Pentacles in reverse is literally an unfair, an imbalance in some kind of a system. You could feel like, oh my gosh, I got to rob Peter to pay Paul. Not that we would ever hurt, Peter, but this is where you just see that the abundance is not where it should be. It could also be at times the Six of Pentacles in reverse is like not knowing where the food bank is, not knowing how to get the social services. And remember always that everyone, at least here, I can only speak for the United States, people like me, people like my father, everybody in my family, we have paid those same taxes to pay it forward so that someone else in the community, in the neighborhood, in the city, in the state, in the freaking country can get their benefits, their services. Don't feel embarrassed by it. I'm one of those people. I hate asking for help, but trust me, if I need to ask for help, I will always remember my father's words when I was a very long time ago divorcing. And this was to my second most favorite husband, and he told my mother, don't let me find out that she doesn't ask for help. And I was about to go to school at the same time. It was crazy. So lack of knowledge, this financial implication of this excommunication, of this being passed over, of this knowing that people are basically being dicks, would indicate that there is some information you need. You may need to literally pick up your phone here in the United States and dial 211. You may need to press gently on your community services and say, hey, why aren't you helping me? Call and be very honest and make payment arrangements and say, I don't have the money. I need some help. Make sure. Never reach out to an enemy for help. Never accept help from an enemy. Trust me. You never want strings attached to anyone that wished you harm. And if you search yourself with that Hanged Man in reverse, I always read this from the perspective that you guys are not the ones doing the bad things that would lead to this. And sometimes it's just life. But, there's a lot of spiritual going on. So this is also not a good time to invest in a business. This is not a good time to invest in real estate. This is not a good time to invest in a project, take a risk. And you have to be very careful with Mercury retrograde. Of course, you need to know your natal chart. You need to know your transiting astrology. But this is not a good time to invest in something that is risky. And if someone brings a proposition to you and they want to offer this big business partnership, and it could be a small partnership, or maybe it's somebody reaching out to you and like, hey, let's help you with this YouTube thing you're doing. And you're like, fuck, I don't need any help. I'm doing this because I have fun. They're like, no, let's help you. No, honey, you want to put your hand in my pocket. Okay, so this is not the time to invest in anything. This is a time to maybe research and to restructure what you're doing. So of course, with this Three of Cups in reverse, this makes sense because this is no support for your business, your financial plans or goals. And let us not forget that there is slander and gossip afoot, which will make sense with the Six of Pentacles in reverse, Three of Cups in reverse, the Hanged Man. Now for your romance, we've got the Knight of Wands. This is very interesting. So for romance, we've got somebody who's a Knight of Wands, feeling very wandy, feeling very excited about delivering a message that involves action, somebody coming towards you, somebody really wants to talk to you. Now, this is somebody who we would say is confident, somebody who's attractive, somebody who's fun, somebody has energy, somebody who's sexy, somebody who's going to try to seduce you, somebody who's going to try to give you a wand. Or you may want to give a wand too. Now, this is somebody who could rush things, be pushy, just they're kind of like all over the place. They go too fast. They want you to go too fast. They're like, I love you so much, I got to touch it right now. Or we're about to, go into the chapel and we're gonna get mad. No, Okay, been there, done that. It doesn't work. Like, you have to develop strong boundaries and not let people push you into getting married, or, look, I want you here in 30 days or else, so constant change. This is a little bit of the shadowy side of the Knight of Wands, but he is in the upright, and he is kind of facing all of this action. So this is a person who could be impatient. This is a person who's enthusiastic, but at the same time, this temperament could really, and because you're a fire sign, this could be you. You could be the one trying to offer the wand. You're like, no, I love this person. Well, slow your roll. Okay, because this horse is going too damn fast, even though he's awful cute in the art that I'm looking at here. This could be a lot of emotion that's behind something. So you're understanding other people's motivations. So, because this knight is looking at the 3 of Cups, 6 of Pentacles, both in reverse, the way that I've got it laid out here. Facing it, who's talking shit about you. If somebody's talking shit about you, if somebody's talking smack, if somebody's being rude, if somebody's being crazy, if they have literally gone, I'm thinking about something funny, but I can't say it. I can't say it. Let's just say the people that have gone rogue. You know who they are. You know what they're doing. And maybe you're the one going to take legal action against them, which I advise everyone. If you have a legally actionable situation, sue them, sue them, sue them. When it's appropriate, sue them. All right. So for the solution, we have the 6 of Cups. Wow. I just thought of something here. 6. Ooh. Yeah, you changed something and now it's moving forward. So the solution is the 6 of Cups in reverse. So let's look at this, just get the meaning. So this is where you're dwelling on the past. So don't do that. Maybe this is indicating that this situation that is causing you problems has a root in the past. Somebody you already know, somebody that you've already met, somebody that you have spent some time around. I don't want to go with the spiritual component of like, this is a past life enemy. Although, yeah, that can always happen. But I don't see that specifically indicated here. So this is somebody who is in the physical with the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. And there's a whole lot of emotional projection, people that just hate you because you're wonderful. The 6 of Cups in reverse indicates that something that's going on isn't going to stop or disappear overnight. It's going to stop right away. And you take them to court and you take off their, sue them for their friggin' jalopy or their trailer, whatever it is. This is where the emotional upset does continue a little bit longer, but remember that this is a transient reading. This is going to just be kind of, 5 days or so. Think about a week. It doesn't have to be that way. Or, whenever you get this message, you'll understand it. This is where you take control of your emotions, because this is when self-control is absolutely imperative. Control yourself. One of the greatest skills of a Jedi, one of the most powerful things a Jedi can do, is to control themselves. When they control themselves, they've mastered themselves. When they master themselves, they've mastered you. This is a potential for a gift, something being given to you. This is probably for those of you that need community support and need to go to the food bank or need to get some shelter help or whatever it is that you need. The money is there. They will help you. Some of you could be inheriting money, legacy. Something could be left to you. Somebody could say, hey, I left you an envelope under your doormat. It could be like that because we're talking a week, not talking a lifetime. So, it could be that also you're thinking about a large sum of money and that is on your mind and affects your mood. So remember to be a Jedi. Woo! And don't let it be. Okay, so let's get your funky oracles. I just took a chunk of them and I divvied them up, threw them down, and I probably should move them because they're on my laptop keyboard, face down, and probably, adding to the heat. So you have the aircraft carrier. You are stable during any storm, Leo. All right, I like that. No bake dessert, someone who is not on drugs. Good for you. Okay. Look, drugs are legal in lots of different states. Use with caution, proceed with caution, float off into your cosmic atmosphere and do whatever you do. But remember, that's not when you're going to be the most productive. I am not shading on people who have to use natural substances to alleviate body pain. My best suggestion is to try to not exacerbate body pain. And I'm not, I know some Leos that have some serious injuries And I want to ensure you that I understand what that kind of body pain is, or people that have, different conditions like autoimmune and that kind of thing. It can be a challenge. The best thing is to stay out of jobs and environments where that's going to challenge you and hurt your body more. I've got the use caution. Oh, the use caution card and protection, St. Michael. Okay, so if people are messing with you, just know that St. Michael is protecting you, and you should always use caution, but just know he's got your back. Your power is the ability to change, Leo. Change is good. Trust me. Even when you're like, I don't want to change. Yes, it's good. It'll help you grow. If you're very young or much younger than me, and I'm probably much older than you, actually, according to my demographics, most people that are watching me are about my age, but I try to remember that, I've got a percentage of people that are also younger. We've got Cracker Jacks, someone in the military. So there could be a need to use caution around somebody in the military, an aircraft carrier, but remember that you are stable in any storm. And if somebody in the military, somebody associated with the military, or you are in the military, that maybe the Navy, just know that you are protected by St. Michael. Leo, you literally have the card of Leo. So Leo, maybe you are a Leo lion and you just identify that way. Maybe you are literally a law enforcement officer. We also have toys and games. Voodoo doll for you. Okay, so you know that some people are stupid and they really think that this will work or somehow go unnoticed. Remember, spiritual court's in session at all times. The bailiff is already, there. He will kick people's ass too. He's the spiritual bailiff, will grab you by the frickin' head, grab those people, anybody coming against you, or you if you do bad things, but it's not you, right? Right, Leo, it's not you. Grab the spiritual perpetrators of crimes by the frickin' head, and in spiritual court, they don't have to follow the same rules. He will put his knee into your face. Beware of dogs sign. Okay, so you are being advised not to be afraid of dogs, but to take care of dogs. If there's a dog in your environment or your vicinity, maybe that dog needs extra care. That's also a card of protection. Dogs are friends and they protect you. You have star anise. You are a star seed. Okay, so that means that you're special. You're probably from the Pleiadians. You could be connected to, with these law enforcement and military cards, you could be connected to or being watched over or supervised by a galactic federation. Now, trust me, it's real. We have the supermarket flyer. We have a pilot. Perhaps you're a pilot. You know a pilot. Maybe you've always wanted to be a pilot. Maybe you've got a drone. Maybe you, if you play basketball, especially if you're playing center, there are certain moves you're going to make that you're going to have to be a pilot about it, because you're going to have to know exactly what you're doing. Okay, that's the end of your reading. I hope that this is of some help to you, and I hope you had a good time. All right, see you in just a few.
Ma fede fu e le tua.